Are you expecting to hear some cheers this Friday night?
Actually the third time I did the IMAF. So I fought 3 times in Vegas, and then my last fight in New York. And then this is like my 5th fight here. But I don't know, I hope so. Hope there's some Irish in the crowd.
I do you believe that a win over Cat will
September or the end of summer, I've heard, yeah. I heard this fight was meant to be for the title, and then I don't know what happened, but I'm here fighting Cat, so I'm excited.
Next question. Did you or your coaches bring in any special sparring partners to emulate her style?
Yeah, I have. I was working with some of the Team GB wrestlers prepare for this type of matchup. I know Kat is obviously very strong in wrestling and grappling, and quite similar to my style, but she favors more towards wrestling. So it was nice to kind of add that aspect into my game. I think one of my strongest points has always been my takedown defense, and it's kind of really honed in on that during this camp. I also have a fantastic sparring partner, a guy called Jake. He's black belt judo, high level wrestler, so did a lot of heavy wrestling this camp. Yeah.
Leah, right here. Being that the Irish fight culture is so strong, what does it mean to you to be able to represent Ireland out here in California this week?
Yeah, I'm really proud. We've always had massive shows in Dublin, and I think it's more special. I think, I'm from Belfast, and we've had so many iconic male fighters coming from Belfast, Carl Frampton, McConnell, got the likes of Carl Moore as well now in Bellator. It's nice to just represent, Belfast and where I grew up and both sides of the border.
Awesome. Thank you.
Leah, you come to California and it's raining. Did you bring this from Ireland?
Yeah, and a tornado. Did you hear, the day I arrived last week, there was a tornado in California. The first one in 30 years. The curse has arrived.
That's what the nickname is from.
Yeah, and if it goes wrong, it'll happen to me.
You got Cat Zingano in front of you. She's beaten, a lot of top talent, obviously. Amanda Nunes, Misha Tate, Raquel Pennington. What does that mean to you to have that name in front of you, this opportunity to get a win over Cat Zingano?
Yeah, I think Mike had mentioned this name back in November, and I've been the most excited I've been for a matchup. I've always been a fan of hers and the way she fights, and I like her as a person. I think just to be able to have this opportunity and get to this point, I'm proud of myself, and I'm excited to showcase, my skill on Friday. I think beating her will I believe to be the best version of myself, and I feel like we've really brought that out of me this camp.
I've known Daniel James for like 10 years now, so it's so cool that he's the headliner. But I gotta think, Leah McCourt versus Cat Zingano could have headlined this thing. Whose ass do you got to kick to headline this card?
I heard it was as well. I don't care. It doesn't really make a difference. If you're first, I'd rather be first on to get it over and done with. But as always, I'm always the main card or co-main event. It's always a lot of pressure, and you've thrown at the deep end. It's like, this is what I've done my whole career since my first professional debut, is thrown at the deep end, and here we are again.
You're a black belt in judo. You've got nice triangles, nice finishes. Do you prefer to keep this fight on the feet, or if it goes to the floor, are you confident that you're going to be able to deal with a Cat Zingano on the mat?
Yeah, we have our game plan and our strategy, and we have the best keys to victory that we feel that we're going to implement in this fight. But I'm comfortable everywhere. If it's standing or grappling, grappling's my A game, and it's like if it goes to that, then I'll be able to hang there. Yeah.
How does Leah McCourt win this fight?
I feel like it's going to could be a second round stoppage.
We'll take a couple from the internet. Here's Santiago.
Hi, Leah. Thank you for the time. You look amazing as always. And how is fight week going for you? And did you get a good reception from Bellator upon arrival?
Always. Bellator the best. Yeah. It's been good. We came out a bit early just to get used to the time difference and the jet lag. So it's been nice and a bit calmer than Dublin fight week. So we've all had a good time by the pool and just chilling. Yeah.
I saw that you also was with Luke Trainer earlier during the photo shoot, and I saw that you brought Molly McMahon with you. Is Molly going to be in your corner, and how long have you been working with her now?
Yeah, I know Luke, obviously, and his dad, he's in Bellator. He's great. It's good to have some of the English out here, and Molly and I have been friends for like 7 years, so I've always had her, she's always had my back. She's in my corner, and been keeping me laughing this week as well. So good.
Patrick.
Hi, Leah. This is Pat McCourt from Combat Sports UK. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Irish MMA recently has really been thriving through all different promotions. How good does it feel to be one of the front runners among that Irish talent?
Yeah, I'm definitely proud. I love representing Ireland and love coming from that kind of fighting country. And there's so many great Irish fighters and across all the promotions and divisions at the minute. It's nice to be up here and represent as well.
Mills.
How's it going, Leah? MMA Locker Room, part of Puff Sports Radio.
Hi.
I just have a question. It seems like you've been enjoying your time out there on the mic, commentating a lot of these fighters out there that you've been actually studying. Since you've been behind the booth studying them from a commentator's perspective, have you had that luxury to study Cat Zingano behind the mic at the booth?
Not behind the mic. I'm a bit of a nerd. I kind of like study fighting anyway, and especially when we had this kind of matchup, we've had a lot of breakdowns done, and I've seen her fights. I know what way she fights, and I know her style. So I feel like it's an advantage I have. I know what the strongest ways to win and how to make this fight go in my favor.
Got it. And for the people out there, you got any predictions on how this fight's going to play out? A lot of people say when you go into the fight with the specific game plan, it's usually better to have, the results that you want with the specific game plan. So how do you see this fight playing out?
We prepared for all scenarios. We're prepared for the fights to go a lot of different ways. And I think that I'll be, the last couple of fights have shown I can stand and I can grapple as well. So as long as I stick to my skill and technique and timing well, I think it's going to be a fight of who gives the first inch, who's going to, give up in that scramble first, who's going to settle in a bad position. I think it's going to come down to a lot to mindset. And I think both of us have shown we have been to deep waters and can get through that in the fight. And I think that's what's going to make it exciting on Friday. We're not going to give up.
Danny?
Leah, what implications do you think this fight has?
I know a win is gonna, be a title shot, so it's massive implications. There's, massive opportunities to come from it. I think that it's motivated me even more in training. I always, give 110% to fight camps and never take these opportunities for granted. Give everything I can. So, I've done everything I can, and it's time to go and perform.
Yeah. When there's a lot on the line, does this motivate you? Does it up the nerves? What effects does it have on you?
I just feel like every fight I've had, there's been a lot on the line. There's been a lot of, opportunities after. I have to keep winning, to keep getting these big fights. And it's like, I am used to it now. I've always had these kind of big events and big platforms to fight on. It's kind of been quite good to have that experience, I think. Whenever I'm here fighting an opponent like Cat, it's better to have been through this a lot of times and not thrown into all the media and the pressure. But I'm used to dealing with the pressure fight week.
And obviously this is an opponent that will get you a title shot, right? But beyond that, right, this is also Cat Zingano, a historic figure in women's MMA. She's, fought for a UFC title. She's been in some big fights. How nice is it to add somebody that has so much history? How nice is it to be matched up with somebody that has that name and be able to put that in your resume?
Yeah, it's amazing. I was watching Cat before I even started fighting MMA, so to be able to get to this stage and she's still fighting, and I'm definitely proud to be in this position. And it's quite unbelievable sometimes when I think about it. But at the end of the day, just another body, another opponent, and I have to go in there and get the job done.
We'll take our last question here from Sean.
Hi, Leah. Sean Sheen here for Severe MMA. We spoke a few years ago, and you said the phrase to me, you want to fight until your idols become your rivals. And the next two fights for you could be Cat Zingano and Chris Cyborg. Like, how massive is that for you to have reached that level?
Have you got Stormzy doing my walkout yet, Sean, in Belfast?
No, I'm still working on it. Hopefully, when the next question was like, do you want the title shot in Dublin? So maybe for then in September, we can get that done.
You're going to have to sing Blinded by Your Grace if you don't get him, okay?
No, I'll do it. No problem. Give me a mic. I'll do it.
No, I know. It's like surreal, isn't it? Like you're looking back and fighting in the Ulster Hall in Belfast and all the IMAF shows, and yeah, it's a bit surreal when I think about it. I'm out here fighting for these names and there's big opportunities that can come.
I saw Chris Cyborg saying this week that, maybe for the first time ever, that she's up for fighting in Dublin. Obviously, the September show is coming back. Is that your aim now, to win this, get Cyborg in that show in Dublin?
Do you know what? I keep saying Belfast. Like, I want to fight in Belfast. I want to fight for the title in Belfast. That's where I'm from. And there's been so many iconic fight nights there. I just believe that I deserve that. I get through this fight. I think she said that as well. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. Mike Hogan's promised me that as well. If I ever fight for the title, it's in Belfast. So.
Last question for me is, and I know someone asked you about the grappling earlier on, but I think, Chris mentioned in the interview she did as well with James Lynch during the week that she thought your striking could do well against Cat. Cat has been wrestling an awful lot recently in her fights, and obviously you came up as a judoka, and we all know how good your jiu-jitsu is and everything like that. How good is it, first of all, to hear Cyborg saying those good things about you, but also how good is it to have someone against you who possibly will want to wrestle and take the fight to the ground, where you've been known as someone who people try to avoid getting to the ground? So how good is it to you maybe go in there against someone who'd want to take you down?
Yeah, it's going to be different. I don't actually think I've ever fought a grappler. I don't actually think I've ever been taken down in a fight. I always think one of my strongest attributes is my takedown defense. When I started MMA, obviously, with Joe McColgan, Conor Moore, did a lot of wrestling. I had to survive in those rounds years ago, and I think it stood by me for years and years. So it's been interesting to see, how that plays out in the cage and what happens. I put myself in a lot of bad positions, in this training camp, and I'm used to, getting taken down, getting back up. It's just, it's going to be a nice test, and bring out a new side to me, I think, on Friday.
Thanks very much, Leah. Appreciate your time.